God said that when you go through trials, you have a responsibility to recognize that what you're going through is just a part of my process. He said you got a responsibility now to recognize that the pain that you have to endure, that the circumstances you're facing, that the tears that you've had to cry are not random events that are happening because of your actions, but rather it is my providence that is allowing things to happen to you. He said, count it all joy when you fall under various trials and tests. I got to stop right there. Oh, God, Miss Terry, the word for trials and tests in the Greek is a word for a scientific evaluation. God, help me. It means scientific evaluation, meaning that God is not allowing you to go through troubles randomly, but rather he is sending you through them on purpose so that he can test your value. God, help me. The word picture that is utilized here in the text is the picture of a refiner that is refining precious metal in the fire, meaning that when they pull the precious metal out of the dirt, it still has a lot of dirt and residue and uncleanness on it that makes it invaluable and improper to be used and worn as jewelry. So what the refiner does is he takes that lump of raw gold and he throws it, Laurel, into the fire, and he lets the fire get up hot enough to where it begins to burn the impurities off of the gold. But check this out. He doesn't just stop, Brittany, when the gold has the impurities burnt off of it, but he keeps on going until the gold begins to melt down into a fine plate. And you could hear it. I bet you if the gold could talk, it would talk to the refiner and say, don't you see that this fire is burning me up? Don't you see that this fire is getting too hot on me? Don't you see that this fire is messing my life up? Don't you see that when you turned up the fire, you were making it uncomfortable for me? But can I tell you what the refiner is waiting on? The refiner has to keep the fire hot until he looks into the fire and can see his reflection in the gold. And when he can see his reflection in the gold, then he knows that the gold is ready to come out the fire. And God said that you were raw when he pulled you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Had some friends on you that you needed burnt off. You had some habits on you that you needed burnt off. You had some churches that you were going to that weren't feeding you spiritually, that you needed to have burnt off you. And when you got that burnt off you, you thought you was all right, thought you was living good. But God kept you in the fire, and he didn't allow you to come out just then. But it wasn't because he was mad at you. God was allowing you to stay in the fire of death, the fire of trial and tribulation, the fire of hell and high water, the fire of pain and persecution, the fire that made you want to lose your ever-loving mind. He let you go through it just so you could begin to see. God, help me. I feel like preaching now. He said, I'll let you go through it just so I could look at you and see my reflection in you. And God said that when I can see myself in you, God, help me, that means that you're ready to come out the fire. God said, if you want to come out, then stop cussing your enemies out. I know you're mad, but start loving your enemies. I know that you're ready to come out the fire, but stop losing your mind and look up your eyes to the hills from whence cometh your help. Stop waiting until the battle is over to give me praise. But if you want to come out the fire, start praising me now, because I got to see my reflection in you. He says, count it all joy when you fall under various trials and tests. God, the word various means multitudinous, or in the Greek it means something that is surrounding you. When you fall into it, it says it means it is something that's all around. And I don't know who I'm talking to today, but God said that you're going through something now where it seems like trouble is all around you. It seems like you're not going to be able to make it. Didn't think that your tuition was going to fall through. Didn't think that your Pell Grant was going to get shortened. Didn't think you was going to lose your job. Didn't think that your marriage, your relationship was going to start falling apart. Didn't think that you would lose custody of your children. Didn't think that everything would start falling apart. But God told me to tell you, he said that it's surrounding you. But can I tell you the beauty of being surrounded by trouble? God, help me. When you're surrounded by trouble, check this out. It painted a picture of an army that is surrounding a troop, oh God, that is less numerous than they are. It says your trouble is like an army that has you outnumbered and has you surrounded. But can I tell you the beauty of being surrounded by trouble? When you're surrounded by trouble, the only place you can look is up. God, help me. God said that when you're surrounded by trouble, you got to develop the attitude of David that said, I will lift up mine eyes to the hills from whence cometh my help. Oh God, I dare you to touch your neighbor for the second time and say, look up, look up. Stop looking at what's going on around you and look up. Stop looking at who made you cry and look up. Stop looking at the troubles that you're facing and look up. Stop looking at your no good, hellacious supervisor and those hating co-workers that want to get you fired, and look up unto the hills from whence cometh your help, because I declare that the same God that saved the children of Israel is the same God that when you lift up your eyes will begin to pick you up out of your trouble. And I think I got a witness in here today. Won't he make a way somehow? Won't he pick you up where you've been down? Won't he dry every tear from your eye? Won't he make sure that you and your kids got food to eat? Won't he make sure that you got money in your pocket and gas in your car? I'm talking to some folk now. Y'all the richest broke folk I've ever seen. Say you ain't got no money, but you're still driving. Ain't got no money, but you still got your own place. Ain't got no money, but you still got cable in that house. Say you ain't got no money, but you still got your cell phone. Sending text messages in church. Y'all can't help me. God said, I'm a merciful God. And all you got to do is look up, and I'll show you that things aren't as bad as they really are. So he says, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. Verse number 3, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. God help me. God, he said that the testing, that the scientific evaluation or examination of your faith will produce, check this out, it's a fantastic word in the Greek. It says process. God help me. I got some few Greeks, some fraternity people up in here. You understand the power of a process. God help me. How a process can begin to change your life. As a matter of fact, God said that I ain't got to go to the fraternal order, but God says I've sent you through some processes in your life that have made you better. And God said, check this out, he said the trying of your faith will produce patience in you. Check this out. Oh, God help me. Can I break this down to you? And I promise we're going to shout and get up out of here. He says it produces patience through scientific evaluation. God help me. Y'all understand that if there is a general scientific consensus, then there is really no reason to do an examination. Every scientist believes that the power of gravity is still in effect. You don't have anybody dropping apples out the sky to see if they're going to fall anymore, because people already know that the laws of gravity take place. People already know that humans can't breathe underwater, so you don't have people diving underwater without scuba gear because everybody believes that you can't survive underwater without oxygen. But check this out. Whenever there is an experiment, that means that there are two opposing views. One view that says positive and the other view that says negative. So check this out. When it comes to your faith, you got to understand that there are two opposing viewpoints, meaning that the devil that is against you is saying that if you send them through that trial, God, they're not going to make it. But God is saying if I send them through that trial, yes, they will make it. And so what God is saying, it ain't even about you no more, but me and the devil are going head to head because he thinks that your trials are going to take you out, but I think that you'll be able to make it with your head held high. And I know that you don't understand why you're going through, but God said me and the devil just got an experiment going, and we're trying to see if you're going to be able to make it. And God says, so now the devil is standing on one side and I'm standing on the other. I got the angels in heaven as an unbiased audience to bear witness to what it is that they've seen. But can I tell you that God has the edge? And can I tell you why he has the edge? It's because God is the manufacturer of the product that's being tested. And when he made the product, he understood exactly how much the product could take before he experimented on it. And so the devil is talking what he thinks when he says that you can't make it. But God is talking what he knows when he says, yes, you can. God help me. And I know that you're going through trial right now and you think you're not going to be able to withstand it. I know you're going through pain and problems right now and you think you're not going to be able to make it. But God told me to tell you, yes, you can. God said you're going to be able to come through the fire and you're going to come out as pure gold. Don't worry about what your haters say because they don't really know you. God help me. Beyonce wrote a song 2 years ago and said, you must not know about me. God help me. And I dare you to declare that to every one of your haters. When they say you ain't able to make it, I dare you to look at your haters and say, you must not know about me. God has tested me in the fire. I'm battle ready. I ain't going to fall apart like the rest of these people when they go through trouble. When my baby daddy walked out on me, they broke down, but I'm going to stay right here. When my girl left me after taking all my money, dude blew his brains out, but I'm better than that. I'm not going to give up in the trial. When I lost my job, when they lost their job, they started selling drugs. But I came to church and started praising God because I believed that he would meet every one of my needs. God said, don't allow the devil to punk you out. God says he's got your back and he knows that you're able to withstand the trial. He says, knowing